All right, what's going on, everybody? It's just me, or is the video weird? I'm looking at the preview here. We are definitely having internet issues today. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. I don't know if it's actually streaming. I am getting errors. I think we were connected. Yeah, it's dropping out. So give me a sec. Here's what I'm gonna do. I don't have anything. Let's see. Are we back? Are we back? Man, I can't wait to get some sort of backup internet here that's not. Okay, we're sending to the YouTube server now. And I lowered the. Okay, let's try this. I set the bitrate to 1000, which I might be pretty pixelated, but maybe we can get through the stream. Let's see. We're on the backup YouTube server. I don't think it's YouTube. I think it's my Comcast line. I'm sure you'll all be shocked that Comcast is having service issues. Yeah, this fucking blows. I'm just gonna say it. Like, how many times, like, I'd be rich if I had, like, $100 for every time Comcast screwed something up right in the middle of a stream. Like, yeah, my upload is absolute dog shit right now. I'm only getting 10 up. I usually get 50. I'm only getting 10. That's it. I'm checking on my phone here to see my download. I mean, I usually get 500 down. On my phone, I'm limited by the Wi-Fi, but it's testing my upload speed on the phone. Yeah, I'm getting 5. So there's something going on. There's something going on with the connection. So, can you guys at least hear me? Is this at all usable, or should I just do the stream later? I have no idea. We usually don't have too many issues, but we've had quite a few in the past. I'm checking my Comcast modem right now. I'm not seeing any errors really. Although here's the thing though. My power levels are usually right around 0. I'm showing my power levels at -1 to -3, which means I'm getting low signal on here. So there's definitely something going on with the line. Okay, well, we're just gonna roll with it. How's that? So let's start over. I'll cut this whole beginning part out. So everything from before here, after the stream is on, I will edit it on YouTube, so it'll go private for a little bit and then come back. So that way everybody else doesn't have to see all this useless stuff. So let's just restart here. How's that? All right, everybody, welcome to the Ask Tim stream. Here we are. It's Wednesday. We are experiencing internet issues, so if this playback is a little wonky, that would be, god damn it, it just dropped it. All right, so we are just going to record this. I'm recording this locally to my computer so I can still answer your guys' questions, and we can just re-upload it later. Anyways, we are having internet issues, so you guys may experience buffering, low quality, etc. I'm seeing about 50% loss going out to YouTube servers right now, so we got to make do with what we got to make do. My LTE backup is also not working. Yay. Gotta love having all these monopolies on the internet service providers because basically I have Comcast here. That's it. We don't have AT&T. We don't have any other goddamn options. Yeah. So, anyways, this is our Ask Tim stream. We are starting late because Comcast doesn't know how to provide proper service. Their tech support was useless. I was trying to get a hold of them. But anyways, so let's just go on. If you guys did post questions in chat, I no longer have them up on my screen, so I need you to repost them if you guys do have questions. So I say it's buffering, but it's gonna buffer. It's just how it is today. This stream's terrible experience is sponsored by Comcast. Except by sponsored, I mean we pay them to provide us with this shitty level of service. God, it's such a great deal, you know. What was that South Park meme where it's like, oh, why don't you just go to another cable provider? Like, yeah, it's what it feels like. It's so relevant. But anyways, I do have some new stuff to talk about today. If you guys have been following us, we did release a couple of firmware updates to the website. Let's see here. So, because I actually pushed out a couple. So the printer sitting next to me, I don't know if you guys remember me complaining. This is my AM8, which is used for ABS, hence why it's in this giant enclosure. I was having issues with this. This is the SKR 1.4 turbo. They're garbage. The thing would lock up on me, constantly crash. In addition to that, when it did work, because of how they have everything like designed on the board, it just absolutely decimated the accuracy on our EasyABL. I was getting like 0.01 to 0.009, which is usable, but the problem is it would vary the height so much between prints, I'd have to baby step it every single time. I did not have that issue on the MKS Gen 1.4, which is an 8-bit board that was in this machine. Now I have the MKS S-Gen LV2 in here, and everything's working. It's amazing. So, but yeah. So, since I actually am pretty impressed with the MKS S-Gen L, I have the V1 in Barney up here, which also ironically had an SKR 1.3. If you guys remember that board when I took it out of the package, it was brand new. The MOSFET for the bed almost caught on fire, and that's not my opinion, that's what happened. So, all the Big Tree Tech fanboys deal with it. But in terms of this board, so far, in general, like I said, MKS doesn't make high-end boards, but they make decent budget boards, and I feel like they have a good grasp on how to get your costs down and where you can cut corners without absolutely screwing the consumer by selling them garbage. So already, just like on the initial swap after this, everything's running better. The accuracy on the probe, I'm getting 0.002 or lower, which means it's actually reading the end stops correctly. It just works. So if you guys are looking for a cheap, low-cost board, stop throwing your money at Big Tree Tech that puts out crap products. MKS seems to make some decent boards. Like I said, I've got the V1 in on my Barney machine. That's been in there for almost a year now. No issues. It just works. And I'll continue to test the S-Gen LV2 in here because this is a machine I use frequently. This is my ABS machine in my office here. So I do have extra of these. I'm actually sending one of these out to a guy in our Discord server that was also having issues with his SKR 1.4 turbo. And I was like, listen, I bought a few of these to test. I've got the V2s and a couple other machines here on the premise, and they've been running great. And I was like, well, I got one more. If you want me to sell you one, I can part with one of them. I got 2 extra sets. So we are going to be looking at selling these, but as with everything, I want to test them to make sure that they're actually going to last. You know, I don't want to sell you guys a board that's only going to last 2 or 3 months. Then it's like, well, it died. Sorry, you're out of warranty. In general, MKS has been around longer than Big Tree Tech, and you guys may not know because let's go over this a little bit. I'm going to go off. Here's our rant. Here's the Tim's rant. MKS is not as well known because they don't have a bunch of representatives spamming the crap out of the forums and YouTube comments and harassing YouTubers to review their products. They primarily focus on just making boards, and primarily their business is from OEM, meaning they make boards for printer companies. So they don't necessarily need to market their stuff because they're shipping in machines, if that makes sense. They're more of an OEM type of company, but they do sell these boards directly. Now, MKS came up with the Gen L board form factor, which is what you're used to. I don't know if I have one on hand. Anyways, but the form factor you're used to, if you looked at the SKR 1.3, 1.4, 1.4 turbo, that board layout with the way the screw holes are lined up, the size of the board, the location of the USB port, that was something MKS came up with. And it was an 8-bit processor that was a 2560 CPU. They basically combined the ramp shield with a 2560 Arduino onto a single board solution. And I've used many of those, and they're actually quite reliable. I have some that have lasted over 2 years before they actually started having issues. And, you know, for boards that were right around the $30 to $40 price point, I don't think that was terrible. So they came out with the MKS S Gen L, which is the V1, which I have in Barney. And then Big Tree Tech copied that same setup and processor usage. I wouldn't be surprised if they just copied the entire board layout, because they do open source their stuff, and then they started pushing those boards out to all the communities, out to all the forums, they being Big Tree Tech. So because they have more marketing and they push it out there, they're more popular. It's just how it works. Except I truly believe that MKS does make better products than Big Tree Tech. If you notice, we only have 2 board revisions of this, and the first one works fine. The version 2 was to add on additional features, whereas Big Tree Tech, they're releasing board revisions to fix major issues that prevent the boards from working, and then customers are having to buy 2, 3, or 4 boards just to hope that they get something that has all the bugs worked out. So we used to sell the MKS Gen Ls, the 8-bit ones. I was looking for a successor to that, so we have just like a low-cost universal board. I just haven't had as much time as I wish to test this, but like I said, in general, MKS does seem to make pretty good stuff. The only thing I would say is their Robin Nano series, or the Mini series. They have really super low-cost, cheap boards. And those are kind of King Rune uses them, and I haven't had any issues, but I know people have had issues with them dying. But their step up from that, like these type of boards, seem to be pretty solid. So, but anyway, since I wanted to use our firmware on this machine with that board, I put together a pack literally last night. I was working on this till about 3 a.m. And now we have what's called, and we're going to keep doing this with certain boards that I will actually recommend people use. We're going to be doing what's called the DIY firmware. So the same thing we did with our Easy board, where you could take the Easy board and put it into any machine. You just set the firmware up for it, and there's kind of a guided setup for you. I did the same thing for the MKS S Gen L V2. Now, I won't be doing it for the V1, because as far as I know, the V1 is off the market now. It's been off the market for a couple of months now, and the V2 is what you should be buying. So the only caveat is, unless you want to mess with the code, if you want to just use our firmware, just use the board with the drivers we recommend, because that's what the firmware set up. So like these, we're using this board with the MKS TMC 2209 version 2s, and I also have the Wetterot TMC 2209 step sticks. Either of those will work with the firmware. So yeah, anyways, MKS makes decent stuff if you're in the budget market. Yeah, so but let's see here. Let's see what we got for questions. So that's a new thing. So Unified 2.2 is the latest version. There's been no changes to the code from like 2.18 for other machines. These last 2 updates have been new additions. So meaning you don't need to update. You actually don't even need to update your firmware unless you have an issue you're trying to fix that the update would address. So I just want to put that out there. But we do now have Unified 2 out for the ANET A2, A6, A8, A8 Plus, E10, E12, and E16. So we have all of those machines supported with their stock boards with Unified 2. We have the MKS S Gen L V2 DIY firmware out as well. So make sure you guys check that out. If you got one of those boards or printers, you can update. So, but yeah, let's see what we got here. I'm going to see if I can scroll up and see how much of the chat I can actually still see. I can't see too far back, to be completely honest. Yeah, it's like right before I said I'm recording this locally. So let's see. Do do do. Tom Taylor, I'm not sure what you mean. Did they change out inductors for M resistors? I'm not sure what you mean by that. He got one of our pull-up boards today. I'm using really long LCD cables on this. I did have to add a ground wire to my LCD with the S Gen L, but this is kind of an unconventional printer setup. My LCD cables are like this long. So, yeah, I just added a ground wire to the ground plane. I basically soldered onto the SD card, ran it back to ground, and we're good now. That's another thing too. If you guys have, regardless of what board you're using too, if you have really long LCD cables, and the problem with this is when I put this together, I didn't design this enclosure to route them a separate path away from the power lines. The longer the LCD cables you have, the more prone to picking up interference they have. And also, if you run them near power lines, you're going to get more interference too. So at a certain point, no matter how good a board you have or what, you're probably going to get issues where things are not working correctly because it's picking up interference. Like I said, one of the things, and I noticed Creality did this too on the CR30, is you can run a ground line, like a separate wire, from the LCD back to your power supply's ground, and that's what I did on here, and that sorted it right out. But you still do need, still should have pull-ups and, you know, extra filtering on those pins regardless of your board. So, yeah. Mac is saying MKS Gen L V2 versus the SKR 1.4 turbo. We just went over that. Go with the S Gen L V2. I've been recommending that to people because in general, like I said, MKS has just really decent products. I wouldn't call them the best, but the price to what you get, you actually get a product that works. And as far as I know, and as far as I can see, because I've gone over both their V1 and V2 of the S Gen L board, I don't see any glaring issues like what we've seen on Big Tree Tech stuff, where they've just completely bunked things. And it's just like critical design flaws that prevent the product from working correctly or lasting. So, Ovi's asking, do I have an ETA when the Ender 3 Dual Z upgrade kit will be in stock? I can look that up. Let's see here. I want to say relatively soon because those are on order, but also those parts, we have those made over in China and they're on holiday right now. So that could be delayed. I believe they're gone for 2 weeks and then they'll come back. But I know what my suppliers were trying to get stuff out before the holiday. Let me see here. I'm just logging into our system so I can pull the inbound stock report. Let's see. It says our expected date is the 20th, and these were ordered on the 13th of January. So yeah, we're probably looking at like the 20th, so like end of month on the side of that. So let's see here. What other questions do we have? Okay, Craig's asking, how much variation in the bed left to right can the Easy ABL accommodate? I had to shim my solid bed mounts on my E3 because I was always getting thin first layers on the right side of the bed. There's no limit to what it can accommodate for, but you should have your bed as flat as possible. However, if you guys are getting what you're saying, you're getting thin layers on the one side of the bed, that's your gantry. That's not your bed. There's a article in our help center. If you just type in slanting, SLANTING, there's an article that goes over checking all the mechanicals of the machine. If you have a slanting bed result where one side's higher than the other, that's a physical issue with your printer frame that you need to sort out. You can shim, if you're trying to get your bed as flat as possible, you can shim it to level it out, because the less work the Z motor has to do to compensate, the better. And the less variation in your print there will be. So getting your bed as flat as possible is not a bad idea. It's never a bad idea, even if you're using ABL, because then basically what you can get to is a point where it's just doing compensation for any warpness in the plate itself. So let's see here. People say we're still buffering. Matt is asking, I know he's swapping his board on his Creator Pro. Sensorless homing for Z or use a Z probe? Use a Z probe. I would not use sensorless homing for a Z. You want to jam your hot end into there? Yeah, just use a probe. I'm not a fan of sensorless homing. I tried it on here. and it worked, but it was not super accurate, which has been my experience on our Prusa, which has the 2130s, which do the sensorless homing. I highly prefer end stops. End stops they're accurate, they're simple, they take 2 wires. So let's see here. Our flight, is it okay to use 70% IPA to clean the printer bed since it's next to impossible to find the 90% stuff? Yeah, you should be fine. Chris is asking, is it safe to reuse a stock thermistor and heater on Ender 3 Pro with a tough V6 hotend? Yes, it's the same heater, same thermistor type. So yeah, it's a direct swap. So the tough V6 hotend uses a standard size heater cartridge, which is also what the Ender 3 Pro uses. It uses the same thermistor, so no firmware changes needed unless you're physically moving the hot end with whatever mount you're putting on. But yeah, you can definitely use that. So let's see. Andrew's asking, can someone put an MKS board on my CR6 if I compile the firmware with all the dimensions and specs? It's not the firmware that's the hard part. It's figuring out the pinout on those proprietary cables. That's the problem. Is you need to be able to figure out what pins go where on those ribbon cables, and that's the one reason I'm not a fan of printers that use that style. It's why I guess a Sidewinder, they have them, but they break them out to regular wires, which is fine then. But the problem is you're going to have to figure out all those pinouts for those ribbon cables that they use to connect to the hot end and other parts of the machine. So let's see here. How's the stream doing? I'm still seeing packet loss. It says 60% right now. 60% we're losing packets on. Travis, no, the dog will get her treat later. She's passed out right there. Yeah. Let's see here. Mihai is asking, Tim, I'm building 3D printers for my friends and work for colleagues for some time now, like 15, 20 machines. Would opening a business be the right step? What would be your big advice? The thing is this a side thing? It sounds like it's a side thing. I highly recommend even if you're doing side stuff, and this is for anything, if you guys are doing side work where you're making extra money, and this is just my advice, I'm not a financial person, disclaimer. I think you should file an LLC. I don't know what country you're in, but in the US, if you should file an LLC, because if your side work, there's tax benefits, there's legal benefits. If like something you do, they try to sue you, they would sue the company. Whereas right now, like let's say you sold me a printer and the printer burned my house down, I could sue you personally and take everything from you if I won that case. Whereas if you have an LLC, the LLC insulates you from that, so they can only take what are assets of the company and money of the company. So if you guys are doing any sort of work, I highly recommend you file an LLC. I just use LegalZoom.com to do it. They're very affordable. It's like $100. They take care of everything for you. That's how we filed all our LLCs here. But just, keep in mind that if you guys are doing that and you're selling it just as you to another person, if something happens with a product you're selling, like that causes bodily harm or financial loss to that person, they can personally sue you. So like, let's say you have a house, they could take your house if they lose that suit, because that's an asset. Whereas if you have an LLC, they can only go after what the LLC actually owns. So keep that in mind. But in addition to the protections of that, if something goes wrong, is you actually then can do more stuff with write-offs. So let's say you're buying printer parts to do testing and stuff. That's all write-offs. That's all stuff that comes off of your bottom line at the end of the year and gets written off, because those are expenses associated with the operations of that company. So, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor type person. I'm just giving you advice as, one guy to another. And that's it. So, but I highly recommend whatever, I don't know if you're in the US or not, but you should definitely file paperwork with some company name, just to kind of have that separation of your work and your personal life. Because like I said, if something, you're building printers, there's a lot of room for error with those, especially when users get involved and start messing with things, that they could come after you and take everything you have. Whereas if it's on the business side, like if TH3D gets sued, they can only take assets that are TH3D. So like, my printers, some computer equipment, and, money that we have in the bank, they can't go after me personally. It's just something you should do. It's a smart move. So, where are we at? I had some maw in my mustache. Let's see here. All right. So we're going back. Mac J is asking about clone duet boards. Don't buy the clones. They're one. My buddy bought 2 of them. They're crap. There's a reason they're cheaper. 3, support the original creators. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of Duet because of their software. Their hardware, though, is good. Some people like Duet. I found out Duet's not my cup of tea. But yeah, don't be buying the clones. Don't be supporting the Chinese that are literally just taking and copying and pasting everything. And, you know, you're not going to get any help. You're not going to get any warranty on them. Buy from Duet. If you're in the US, printedsolid.com. They sell them. Extruder sells them. I think Matter Hacker carries Duet. But buy the original stuff. Don't be a cheap ass. So if you're going to buy a cheap Chinese board, pick up something like this. So don't be buying stuff that's literally a direct ripoff of the Duet stuff. It's the same thing I say. If you have a heart set on a BL Touch, buy an original BL Touch. Don't buy the clones. And the BL Touch is actually patented. It's not even open source. So you're literally, if you buy a clone BL Touch, you're literally supporting theft of somebody else's work, because the BL Touch is a patented device, and by buying the clones, you are literally supporting theft of someone else's intellectual property. The BL Touch is not an open source design, and I don't think they should. But as you can see, the Chinese don't give a shit, and they just rip everybody's stuff off and sell it. So they let somebody else do all the work and research and development, and then they, you know, get and sell it. No overhead there, aside from making the product. And that's not even touching on the quality difference. I've seen some BL Touch clones. And I've seen the original one. There's no comparison with the quality. The original is way better built. So, let's see here. What else do we have? What's the best way to clean the textured Easy Flex plate? Just IPA is fine. I've used like glass cleaner in a pinch, but IPA, you know, the higher the purity, the better. But like I told the guy earlier, 70% is fine if you can't find 75%. We use like 99% here. That's what we use to clean all our stuff. But you know, in a pinch, 70% is good. But yeah, like I don't recommend using stuff like on the PEI, the smooth PEI sheets. Since they're actual PEI, you can get away with acetone, but I don't recommend it because acetone can be pretty like hard on materials. But acetone, I wouldn't recommend using acetone on, because someone mentioned acetone. Oh, it's Nemo. I use acetone to clean the powder coated flex plate. Now it's discolored. Did I ruin it, or is it superficial? I think it might just be superficial. Print down and see if the texture surface comes off, but we recommend IPA for cleaning them. Acetone is very, very hard on certain things. Like the only time I use acetone is if I'm cleaning off like metal type stuff, or if I'm getting adhesive off of a bed. But other than that, stick with IPA because it's not going to ruin stuff. Let's see here. Can you have too much filament cooling? Yes, you can. Actually, if you have too much filament cooling, what will happen is the layers will not bond together as well. And you can check that, and it could also mean you're not printing hot enough temps. So if you think you're overcooling your filament and you're getting poor layer adhesion, try bumping the temp up like 10C and see if that makes a difference. If it doesn't, then drop your fan speed down by like 25% and see what's going on. Do I have a recommendation for a board upgrade for the Sunlu? I don't, because there's really no, with the Sunlu, there's really no board that's a drop-in. The LCD is not going to fit onto any other boards because it's a different cable connection. The mounting holes aren't going to fit. So if you want to put a new board in that printer, you're going to be busting the Dremel out to cut some holes in the front, and then printing adapter boards, which you're probably going to have to design yourself. And same thing with the LCD. To be completely honest, unless you want to go through the trouble of like if I was swapping the board on the S8, I would pull the LCD and the board, probably print a completely separate mount to mount it further back on the machine, and then just move all the wiring back there. But that machine is not very friendly for doing a drop-in replacement on. I'm just going to be completely honest. It's going to be a lot of work. You can do it, but it's just going to be a lot of work and planning. So Derek is asking, when will the dual extruder board be in stock? Well, that one, I don't know if that shipped out already because we ordered that a while ago. That one's also showing the 20th, but I'm pretty sure my guy that gets those for me from Creality, he's already on his Chinese, is it New Year's? I think it's New Year's. Or is it the Spring Festival? I can't keep, they have so many holidays where they shut the country down. I can't keep track on it. But, yeah. But anyways, let's see here. So yeah, probably towards the end of this month, we should have more of those. Someone's asking about Meat Pack. Why is everybody obsessed with this Meat Pack thing? It's some plugin for Octoprint. I guess it like optimizes and compresses code between the printer board and the between the printer firmware and the Octoprint. It's a neat idea, but it's only supported in the bug fix version of Marlin, so it's not a fully ready to go kind of solution because it's not officially in Marlin yet. It's in their beta branch essentially, but they call it bug fix. So I haven't messed with it. I'll mess with it once it's in a final release of Marlin. So I just saw this pop up over here, so I'm just going to answer this really quick. Is a BL Touch from Creality genuine? As far as I know, they use genuine ones. Let's see. Faded Soul, he's got pancake steppers from us, but he's getting skipping on long lines. Tried voltage settings in the compiler, still skipping. You're probably printing too fast, to be completely honest. If you're getting skipping on long lines, you're probably printing too fast, and what's happening is your hot end is not able to keep up with melting the plastic. So you could try you can try lowering your print speed, but you can also try bumping your temperature up on your nozzle. That'll also be exacerbated depending on what layer height you're printing at. 0.2 is, your average layer height, but if you're printing 0.3, you're bumping your filament that's coming out by at least 50%. So you might want to try turning your print speed down. If it stops skipping, then you know it's that. You could also have a partial clog in your hot end that's preventing the filament from feeding. So if your extruder is skipping, the issue usually lies with the hot end because, and this is assuming all your wiring's good, your connections are good. But if it's skipping, then it's going to be something further up the chain that is preventing the filament from getting fed. So either you're not melting it fast enough, your hot end can't keep up, you have a partial clog that's preventing it from flowing out smooth. But yeah, that's what I would check. Just do a simple test. Bring your hot end up to temp, move it up, tell it to extrude some filament slowly, see if it comes straight down out of the nozzle. If it doesn't and it starts curling up, then what that means typically is that you have a partial clog in there. So we actually have little cleaning kits, and the printers come with little ones too, but we also sell them. They're like $5. So I keep these in here. It's just a simple little kit. It's got 2 tweezers for cleaning your nozzle off, so you can actually get up in there and clean your nozzle off. And then it's got a little package of these, and these are 0.4 millimeter little needles that you can shove up into your nozzle to kind of break anything loose. So I'll usually shove these pins up into there while it's hot, try to break everything out, extrude more until I see stuff come out of it. So but yeah, I would start looking at your hot end, at the hot end side of things, because I can make any of my printers skip if I print too fast. So people having conversations in here. Is it normal to have to decrease retraction way down when you switch to an all metal hot end? Absolutely. That's actually in our help center. There's a guide in our help center called Using Your All Metal Hot End. And let me pull it up really here. Pull it up real quick, Jamie. But yeah, it's called Using Your All Metal Hot End. And yes, the reason you want to have to lower it is because if you retract too far on all metal hot end, and this is any brand, ours, Micro Swiss, E3, doesn't matter. Because it's metal, it's going to be more prone to have, especially PLA, stick to the inside of the heat break on the retract. So if you pull back too far, that filament's going to cool and get stuck to it, and then you're going to get a jam. Not a clog. Those are referred to as a jam because it's jammed up in the heat break. So one thing you do to get around it, and this is all detailed, so I'll touch on this briefly. If you guys want to look at more details, go to support.th3dstudio.com and just type in all metal hot end, and you'll see an article called Using Your All Metal Hot End. One of the things you can do is, especially if it's a new heat break, you can kind of break it in or season it by printing a little filament oiler, which is just like a little thing that clips on the filament. You put a sponge in there or some paper towels. If you don't have a sponge, put a couple drops of canola oil on there and run the filament through there. And what that's going to do is just put a thin film of that oil onto the filament, and then when it gets into the heat break, it coats the heat break, and then as you're using it, it'll kind of build up a seasoning of sorts on the heat break, and then that will make it more prone to resisting. It's kind of like the whole thing with a cast iron pan. If you guys ever use cast iron cookware, the more you use it, it gets that coating, and then it makes stuff less likely to stick to it. Another thing you can do if you don't want to deal with that, especially, and this works really great on new heat breaks, if you pick up some dry PTFE lubricant, and this is with you can do it with it installed, it's just not as easy, but if it's not installed already, take the heat break and spray some of that PTFE lube, let it dry, do like 2 or 3 coats on there before you put it in. That's going to put a PTFE line or layer inside the heat break to make it less likely to stick. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Like I have machines here that when I first put them together, I would jam up frequently until I started using the oiler, but now I can use them with no oiler or anything because that heat break is now broken in and, seasoned. So let's see where we're at, because chat just jumped on me. Oh, cool. I have a new live timer here. Okay, so we're good. So I still want to do an hour, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'll cut the beginning of this stream where Comcast is just absolutely boning me. I'm still getting packet loss. I'm still getting a lot of packet loss, actually. I don't know how this is coming through, so we'll see. Where are we going here? Oh yeah, that's another good point. Nemo replied to Faded Soul. Yeah, you should only be using the pancake or the pancake stepper motors, any brand of pancake, ours or other people's, with a geared extruder. So like a Bondtech, our Tough extruder, the E3 Titan, the Hemera, but the Hemera has its own built-in one. But you want to be using a pancake with a geared extruder because that has a gearing ratio that steps up the torque that the motor's able to provide, and because it's a smaller motor, it has less torque than a bigger one, but it's lighter. So if you run a geared extruder, you can get more torque out of it. So if you guys put a pancake on like a standard one that's just got a gear right on the shaft, and that's what drives the filament, you're going to get step loss because it just doesn't have the torque to do it. So I totally slipped my mind. I appreciate Nemo for bringing that up. But yeah, Faded, if you're using that on a non-geared extruder, that could be why you're getting step loss, is because you're not using it on the correct extruder. They can be used technically for non-geared extruders. It's just you're not going to be able to drive the filament that fast because it doesn't have the torque. So you want to use it with something that's geared, like our Tough extruders. Those are a 3-to-1 gearing ratio. That's what I'm running on this. It's what I run on most of my machines here. So let's see. Mama Boo is saying, if you update the board on the Inner 3 Pro, would it take into account the power loss recovery on printing? No, unless you turn it on. And I don't recommend you use that, because what's going to happen is you're going to wear out the SD card. Faded Soul is saying that someone here told him that it's a direct replacement. Well, if somebody told you here, they will get written up. If somebody told you here that, and you can provide me with the receipts, that the pancake motor is what we recommend for a non-geared extruder, then somebody's going to get their ass chewed out, because every single person here that deals with customers and recommends products should know that by now. So if you have the receipts, like a ticket number, or if you use live chat, let me know. And if that's the case, I'll give you a discount off a geared extruder, or I'll even cover the return shipping to send that back to us, because those guys should know better. I'll ping them right now. Be like, did one of you idiots tell people that you could use a pancake? Now, technically, yes, you can use it, but they should know to help people not to use those without geared extruders. So you can use the pancakes on any printer, but you should be using it with a geared extruder. I believe that's how we have it worded on the marketing page too, or the product page, I should say. So, we do not have any partners in Europe. We only ship from the US. Yeah, I'm looking at the product page right now. So it literally says, first line, perfect for use with Titan extruder, Tough extruder, Bondtech, or Titan Aero setups. So, Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we ever marketed it, but like I said, if one of my guys told you otherwise, let me know because that needs to get sorted out. I don't think they would, but it's possible they screwed up. And if we screwed up, we'll make it right. But if not, yeah. Let's see here. Swap Neil is looking for a hotend upgrade to support 450C. Any recommendation other than Slice Engineering? As far as I know, that's the go-to for high temp stuff. I know E3D has some stuff. I don't know what their max temp are, but I know they have. I think they go up to like 350. But basically, for that high of a temp, Slice is a go-to as far as I know. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's why you're getting skipping Faded. Faded says he has his own direct drive he designed in a steel extruder gear. So he's not using a gear. That's why you're getting step loss. So you could just try slowing down and seeing what's going on with, and seeing if it, how far can you push it before it loses steps? Because it's a motor. It's going to drive the gear. The problem is those motors don't have as much torque as a bigger one. That's the compromise you make. You save weight, but you have less torque. But if you go with geared, then you make up that torque. So, but yeah. Let's see here. I already answered that. It's power loss recovery. Europe partners, no. We only ship from the US right now. I'm trying to work stuff out. It's just a lot of work right now, and I'm still trying to find somebody to hire right now, so we're still short staffed, just trying to keep things running right now. Who is the patent owner of the BL? Who is the patent owner of the BL Touch? Ant Clabs, ANTCLABS. It's a Korean girl that owns the patent on it. Ant Clabs is their is the company that owns it. Let's see here. Why IPA over glass cleaner? IPA, here's the thing. If I tell you you get 99% IPA, I know what's in that. If I tell you glass cleaner, there's a million different versions of glass cleaner. So, it's more about what's in it, because like I've got glass cleaner here and I've got 4 different brands and they all have different ingredients. Some have ammonia, others don't. Like some glass cleaners I found work fine and they don't leave a residue. Other ones leave like a coating that the prints don't stick to. So IPA is just a safer bet because there's consistency between IPA brands. Window cleaner could vary. Yeah, that's another thing. I see Derek is saying Stealth Chop on E. Yeah, if you're running a board with Trinamic drivers and you're running in Stealth Chop, that could be your whole issue too. If you're running in Stealth Chop, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Are you running Stealth Chop so you have a non-geared extruder with the pancake, but I don't know what board you're running. Are you running a board with Trinamic drivers? And Stealth Chop could be either a configurable option, depending on what board you have, meaning you can turn it on or off. But if you're using a Creality board with Trinamic drivers, they're stuck permanently in Stealth Chop mode because the drivers they're dumb. They're running in standalone mode. The processor can't talk to them. Whereas like, you know, boards like our Easy board or even some of the Big Tree Tech boards or like these MKS boards, they can actually turn Stealth Chop on and off per driver if everything's properly set up. Because there's a communication between the driver and the processor. Whereas on the Creality boards, there's just your standard enable step and direction pins. There's no actual serial communication between the drivers and the processor. So, I don't know if he's still in here. I'm curious to know, because if he's running a Trinamic board and he's in Stealth Chop, he might be fine running the pancake with the non-geared extruder, but if he's running Stealth Chop, then that's definitely not going to work. We don't recommend using Stealth Chop on extruder drives because it's insanely less torque, and even Trinamic themselves, you don't have to, anybody wants to argue with me saying, no, you can use it all the time. You can, but you shouldn't. And the reason you shouldn't is, one, my own testing on machines with different extruders, different printers, voltages, I always had step loss at some point. Whether it was a geared extruder, a non-geared extruder, etc. Trinamic's own data sheet tells you if you're using their drivers on an extruder motor to not run it in Stealth Chop. There's the end of the discussion right there. The manufacturer that makes the driver specifically states that for 3D printer applications on an extruder axis, you do not use it in Stealth Chop. You should be using it in Spread Cycle. So regardless of what I think, which is I think you shouldn't, the manufacturer of the actual stepper motor driver has in their data sheet to not use Stealth Chop on an E drive. The Stealth Chop is more geared towards using it on your X, Y, and Z, not your E. Like I said, you can use it. I do not recommend it. And the manufacturer who actually makes the drivers, like actually the people who design those chips that control the motors, that make them quieter, tell you don't use Stealth Chop on E. So, let's see here. Dubbed out saying acetone will ruin the powder coated plates. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So here's the thing. Acetone, I know acetone doesn't eat away at like PEI. So like I've used acetone on my smooth sheet, on my smooth flex plates, but those smooth flex plates have a PEI sheet. It's not like a baked on material. So the texture, even though it's PEI, it's a different formula because it's getting baked onto the plate. That doesn't surprise me, but we never ever tell people to use acetone on their Easy Flex system. We always tell people use IPA every single time. IPA, that's what you should be using to clean off your bed. Whether you're using our flex plates, the stock system, IPA should be your go-to for cleaning your printer bed. And if you guys don't know what IPA is isopropyl alcohol. So I've got a little, these are nice. This is a little pump dispenser. You like flip top this. It's like a medical thing. You push this, it puts IPA up here. So I just can hit like a rag on top of here and then it dispenses it. It's really nice. On the T-Street flex plate, what do I use? Textured or smooth personally? It depends on what I'm printing. I have both. I have more smooth than textured in my office because we had the smooth out longer. So I have a lot of older plates in here that we only had the smooth for. But like, here, I'll show this off. This is actually one of the prototypes. This is another revision for the Ender 6 LCD housing. This was printed on the Daedalus. I cranked this out at like 100 millimeters a second. I think this is the point. Is this the 0.3 layer height one? I think this is. This is one revision. I have so many of these housings around here because we've been. Yeah, this is a 0.3. But this is one of them. You can see here, I've got a USB pass-through here so you can slip your cable in. We got the SD slot. But look at how nice that finishes. That's the textured. So like for faces like this on like a like an LCD housing or something, I like how the texture looks. You can see it gives it just a different look to it. The smooth looks good, but I like for an LCD screen front, I like running the textured on here. It really depends on what you want to do. So, but I've got our Easy Flex. If you guys have a Daedalus or Railcore, the 310 by 320 covers the whole print area. It doesn't cover the full bed, but it covers the whole print area. So that's what I have on mine right now. Yeah, here's this was done at 0.2, and this was 100 millimeter a second print. So pretty damn good. It cranked this out really fast, but again, that's the textured surface there. Matt, do not use Stealth Chop on your E driver. If you want things to work correctly, don't use it. Because here's the problem. Because Stealth Chop's so quiet, you're probably not going to hear it losing steps. So if you can't hear it losing steps, what's going to happen is it's going to look like under extrusion. You're going to be taking things. Just don't use it. Just take Stealth Chop off of your E driver. Put it in spread cycle mode. Also, how do you like that? I got our name on the bottom here. You won't actually see this. This is almost the final revision. I just have to do a test fit, but I have it labeled USB here. But yeah, we're really close. I just got to start working on the firmware then, but this is the one. I just printed this last night. You can see here, I had like 7 other revisions. I threw them out, but this is how many. You can see all the different iterations we went through. Like we found out, 1, this adds supports to it, and 2, the knob hits this. So I said, you know what, the knob's going to cover us up. Just punch it out. It saves us print time, and it removes that interference with the part. So I usually prototype stuff in 0.3. So, and then once I get close to the final revision, which is what this is, I'll run it off in 0.2 just to see how it looks. So, but 0.3 is a lot faster. I'm really enjoying the Daedalus for getting stuff out quick. It's a little bit faster than my fully decked out Ender 3 Pro, but it's also bigger build volume. And I'm really liking the setup he has on there. I can't remember who it was. One of the people told me they got one of those on the way, and Joe told me, he's like, yeah, we got a lot of orders. Like, well, I've been talking about it because I've been using the damn thing now. So, but let's see here. I guess that guy that was saying he was getting faded, I guess Faded Soul dipped out. Because I'm curious to know too, because if you come back and you're listening, or maybe you're busy, if you are, like I said, if you're running Trinamic drivers and you're in stealth chop mode, that could be why you're getting step loss on there. You might be fine doing the pancake on the non-geared extruder, but you're definitely going to need to not run it in stealth chop mode. So, but I don't know. He's not in here to give me other information. I'm trying to help him out here. And like I said, if he can send me if he's got a screenshot or he's got a ticket number or something, I don't know what his actual name is, but if one of my guys told him, oh yeah, you can use it on a regular one, we don't recommend you use the pancakes on the non-geared extruders. It's why we have on the product page that they're recommended for use with the geared ones. So, where are we at here? I already answered those. I'm trying to find where we're at. Chat's going to jump. I'm just going to force it to jump. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Ender 6. I need Unified 2 for the Ender 6. I need it too. I'm actually pretty excited about this because now that I have this, I can pop an LCD in here, start getting to work on the firmware, and then I can start using that machine because I really want to push and see. It's painful with that screen and no USB. So hear me out. Let me know if you guys are okay with this. I've been having a hard time trying to find like a panel mount for like a micro USB that could then go inside. And I was like, you know what? I'm overthinking this. I just want to get this out and to market. What if we just keep it simple? And I'm trying to find a USB cable. Like, what if we just had it so you can just, this isn't a good example because it has this ferrite bead on it, but like, you just pass this through and then shove this down into the bottom of the printer, and then you just have a USB cable coming out to go to your computer. That's just connected to the board all the time. Because the USB cables we sell in our shop, they do not have those ferrite cores on there. But just like, for example, because here's the thing, the ferrite cores are also not going to fit through the opening. So when this is mounted to the printer, there's like, this is where the extrusion is, okay? So your extrusion's here. So you've got a hole in right here that passes onto the inside. So if you have one that's got like a ferrite core like this will not fit through the actual opening on the printer itself. But my logic is that, so like, let's say I have the easy board in there, which uses mini USB, which this is. I can pop this up out of the bottom of the printer, come down into here, and come right through the hole, and just run this out to my computer. So it's just simple. Maybe we'll do a V2 of it later on with like an actual USB thing here. But like I said, I don't want to keep wasting time. And it's a solution that'll work. So... let's see here. I forgot. I'm sorry. I was a little distracted with Comcast screwing up. Alan Samash is asking, can we use UBL with the Unified 2 firmware? You can, but we don't support it. UBL is a absolute bear to understand. We do not want to deal with supporting that, which is why we don't support it. But it's running Marlin, so if you want to add in extra lines, but you might run into, depending on the board you have. Now, if you have like an easy board or even the 2560 boards, you probably have the extra space to run it, but UBL is very complicated. I've messed with it, and it's honestly more trouble than it's worth. It's kind of a neat idea where you can like adjust each point, but honestly, just do a G28 and G29 and call it a day. But, you know, it's your printer, and you have the source code. You can do whatever you want with it, but... you know, like if you're using our firmware and like you want to contact support for getting help with UBL, we do not support that feature in Marlin. So that's why it's nowhere to be found in the config file. But that doesn't mean you can't add the lines back in to enable it. But again, if you have trouble using it, you're going to be on your own because we don't support those features. We only support the features that are in there. The only exceptions are like the community requested features. Those are just as is. They're just little bonuses we put in there type of thing. So, I'm trying to see here. Yeah, we don't have any partners in Europe. I feel like there's just a second person. Would gun oil work in the heat break area? I would look up the flash point of that. If the flash point is higher than your print temp, give it a try. But if it's not, the reason I like canola, if it's not, then don't use it. Like if the flash point is right around where you're printing, you don't want to do that because you want it to just. But I like canola oil because its flash point's really high. You can use olive oil in a pinch, but yeah, I don't recommend it. Hey, look at it! I got a troll band. There we go. Bye bye, Mr. Troll. YouTube flagged his comment. All right, let's see here. Where is it at? It said, I think I heard you said you use a Hero Me 5. I have the 3 on my Ender 3. Do you prefer that over the Pet's Fang? No. I feel like the Pet's Fang is a little more robust, as in it's more durable. The Hero Me works great. It's a nice cooler, but it's not very durable. So if you accidentally bump it, or you got kids and they grab it, the Pet's Fang seems to be a little more durable. I've got Pet's Fangs that are over 2 years old that are still good. But the Hero Me, like my duct has cracked 3 times. I've just been 3D glooping it back together because I don't want to deal with swapping it out. CF is asking, is there any advantage of doing a Zeek sync belt if you're not seeing any issues with gantry level? Is it worth doing for any other reason? I mean, if you're not getting sag and you're not seeing issues, then no, but it's not a bad thing to put on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Maybe you'll lose a couple millimeters of Z height depending on how you implement it. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, but if you're not having issues, then don't mess with it. So yeah, no, night. That's what most people do that are outside the U.S. They'll just kind of batch their orders. They'll get everything they'll get everything together so it's one shipment instead of multiple other ones. Oh, there we go. Chat jumped. Hang on. Let me go back up. We were right there. Matt's asking, Stealth Chop is also an issue for geared extruders? Yes, I've seen step loss on there. Don't use Stealth Chop for extruder motors unless you want to be dealing with very complicated troubleshooting, because that's not going to be the first thing that comes to your mind. You're just going to look at it and be like, why am I under extruding? Maybe I have a jam. Maybe I have a clogged nozzle. Maybe I need to adjust my extruder tension, when all it is that you don't have enough torque going to your motor to drive the filament. If you don't believe me, go look up the 2208 and 2209 data sheets, and they specifically call out 3D printer usage with extruders should not use Stealth Chop. It's literally in the data sheet from the company that makes the actual chips. So if you don't believe me, you can take it right from the manufacturer. So Xanar 7, we do not have any compilers for any other board other than our easy board. So if you guys don't want to deal with trying to compile on your computer because your computer's having issues or you just can't figure it out, our easy board takes all that pain away because we have a website that does all that for you. The other thing you could do is pop in our Discord server. Maybe someone there has time and they can compile for you. But yeah, we have, as far as I know, there was some Australian site that you paid and it's like they auto build it, as far as I know. I can't remember what it's called. But it's kind of the same idea that we had for the Easy Firmware. It came out after our Easy Firmware site. But I haven't used it. I saw someone, I'm willing to bet if you post in our Discord server, someone will know what that's called. I think it was some Australian site. I think it was an EDU domain. But yeah, but if you have an Easy Board, we have the Easy Firmware site, and that's free for all Easy Board customers. You don't have to pay for it. We keep that server running every single month. So, but I think that's it. We got a couple more questions here, and I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're coming up on an hour, so despite all the issues, it looks like we were able to plow through and get something out to the stream, so that's good. Let's see. I can't even pronounce your first name. I'm sorry, man. I'm just gonna call you G. I bought your Easy ABL. I'm not sure how to set the Z offset. I got it working, but I don't know exactly what I did to make it working. There is literally a video showing you how to do that on the channel here. I think it was the first easy tip we did. Yes, it is. Easy tip number 1. Right here. And also make sure you are reading the entire EasyABL installation guide and following every single step. If you skip over a step, things are not going to work. Do I know what board is in the SVO3? Sean is asking. As far as I know, I think that's the Creality V2.x board, so the 2560. I don't have an SVO3. Maybe I should just... the troll didn't even come through because he got flagged by YouTube. Get wrecked. Should I just buy an SVO3? What do you guys think? You know, I think I have an email from a guy that says he has one. But you know what? I think I prefer to just... Let's see, for US only. All right, we're just gonna buy it. I'll buy an SVO3. How's that? Yes, we have the EasyBoard back in stock. We sent an email out to everybody. So we got 200 of those. So once those are gone, we're not going to have more until March. So if you guys are thinking about getting an EasyBoard, do it now. Because this is we got 200 in, and last I checked last night, we already sold through about 60 of them. And that was like at 2 a.m. I want to say. I was talking to Griffin. Let me check and see how many we have left in stock, but they were going pretty quick. We do have more on the way. They're already in production. Like I said, it's just we're dealing with production issues because of all the COVID crap. Damn it, I keep saying it. The human malware. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, or bury my video. People joke about that, but seriously, YouTube has been known to bury, if you mention the human malware name, they bury your video and put like disclaimers and shit on it. It's like some dystopian bullshit. So I refer to it as a human malware. Or try to. I slipped up there. Y'all better... I know multiple people asked me about the SVL3. Y'all better buy at least... Better sell at least 5 or 6 EasyABL kits. Actually, that won't even make me break even. Hang on. How many do I need to... How many kits do I need to sell to break even? Although, I'll be able to get the EasyBoard on here. Oh, it's a decent amount of kits I need to sell. Anyways, who's got an SVO3 or wants an SVO3 and would probably purchase an SVO3 if we supported the SVO3? I'm just curious, because this printer's $430. It's not a small chunk of change. Anyone? Bueller? Before I drop $430 on a printer that I absolutely have no use for. I'm looking at stock right now. We have 96 left. So we sold through over 100 in less than 24 hours because we stocked them at the end of the day yesterday. So I have 96 left. This is all we will have until March. And then we have another run. We have another run in process right now. But like I said, we're just having delays on getting parts, and then the assembler's having delays. Like the human malware is just railing everything from every single side. So, and those delays compound. So, you know, if I can't get MOSFETs or something because there's delays on the manufacturing side, well, that pushes the board production up. Well, then if the board production house has issues, then that pushes the production up. And then if the shipping has shipping issues, then that pushes the delivery date up. It's just, it's a freaking nightmare right now. I'm can't wait till we get out of all this crap. It's made my life it's been, like, I'm not gonna lie, it has been an insane extra amount of work on top of the already high amount of work that I've thought about just like saying screw it and walking away and taking a break for a year, because it's just, it feels like it's not worth it some days. Like, yeah, and then on top of that, all the stress just from trying to coordinate everything with the human malware stuff. Now we have an uptick in people that just are completely fucking oblivious to what's going on. I'm gonna tell you right now, because we have we have had this happen, and we've posted it, and we're very transparent about this. There's shipping delays right now. We have a big red notice on our website at the checkout and the cart stating that we're seeing delays in USPS. And then if you click the more details, we have like dates that we've seen. So like international orders can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days to get there. And we got these idiots opening up PayPal disputes that are, you know, the order's only been in transit for 2 to 3 weeks. And it's like, you're not going to get your order in a month. It'd be a miracle if you did, because everything's so screwed up, and we communicate that. So if you choose to be a Karen and open up a PayPal dispute because you're being impatient, even though we have notices on the site saying that we are seeing these delays, you will be banned from all of our services. And there's no coming back from. There's no sorry. If you choose to actively do that, we will ban you from all services, support, warranties, and the only option you will have is to refuse a package or send it back, and we will give you a refund within 30 days. So if you decide to be a Karen and be completely oblivious and just are rude to our staff, open up frivolous disputes because you failed to read notices that we have posted everywhere. I mean, we're over a year into all this crap. If you have no idea that shipping carriers are having delays, then I can't help you. So, like, we don't put up with the bullshit here. When you open a dispute, it wastes our time. We're already trying to keep up with everything, and you're going to actively now waste our time instead of just being like, hey, can you look into this? Yeah, we don't tolerate that crap here. So I don't care if we lose some people that are just like, oh, you should do that or reship it or give me a refund. No, the reality is the stuff is taking a while to get here, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. So just how it is. I like to set proper expectations. So, you know, but the majority of packages are getting there in a reasonable amount of time. In the US, like, things do seem to be getting better, but the thing is, there's like 1% to 2% of packages that they get bounced around for a while, and I can't do anything. Like, we can call UPS till I'm blue in the face, or not UPS, we can call USPS till we're blue in the face, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't. Like, I can submit a package request or a search. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really do anything. I feel like they have a lot of this stuff just there just to make you feel good that you're doing something. I don't think it actually does anything, to be completely honest. So, but yeah, what I'm just saying is be patient. Like, that's all I have to say. And if you can't be patient and you're the type of person that's going to, you know, even though we have notices and we've been, hey, there's delays, especially if you're international, and you're going to be the kind of person that's going to pull a Karen on us, like, I don't want you as a customer. I don't need people that treat people like that and have no common sense. It's really a common sense thing if you think about it. There's notices on the site. There's the entire world that's going on with all this stuff. If you are oblivious to the fact that there's delays, I can't help you. So, anyways, yeah, UPS seems to be doing a good job. We've been getting a lot of stuff from UPS, and stuff has been getting here. It's been getting to our customers on time. It's been stuff that we order has been getting to us on time. UPS seems to have their shit together, but you pay more. It's almost like you get what you pay for. You know, UPS is more expensive, but they seem to do a better job at delivering. USPS is the entry level thing. Like, even their priority mail stuff is having issues. So my recommendation, if you were going to spring for priority mail and UPS is about the same price or a little bit more, go for UPS, because USPS, even their priority mail packages are getting screwed up. Hey, look at this. I thought we were going to make it through a stream without talking about Vision Miner, but Brendan was asking, do you at one point have for sale or endorsed product for helping attach prints to the bed? We sell this and endorse this. Every single one. Okay, where's my Vision Miner people at in the chat? I know we got them here. This stuff is amazing. We sell them in the shop. This big bottle is $50. This will last you a long time. We also sell small bottles if you want to try it out. They're like $6. This stuff is amazing. If it didn't work, I wouldn't sell it. And it's that simple. But just watch. You'll see people in chat that'll chime in. It's legit. So I'm using it on this right now on PEI for ABS. So where's my Vision Miner peeps at? But let's see. Can you explain the difference on the super fast probing and fast probing? Should I disable fast when selecting super fast in the firmware? So fast probing versus super fast probing is changing how quickly it moves between the points and how quickly your Z goes up and down. And this is a really good example. This printer, because of how it's built and just the mechanicals, I actually cannot run the super fast probing on it because the machine is physically not capable of moving that fast without losing steps on the Z. So that's one thing you got to check. But super fast probing runs at 15 millimeters a second on the Z. Fast probing is 8. Most machines, almost every single machine, can run 8 millimeters a second on the Z, which is the fast probing. The super fast probing is 15. So yeah, just enable it and see how it is. And you do not need to disable fast when selecting the super fast, because the super fast, how I have it coded, overrides the fast. So if the super fast is enabled, it uses those settings and not the fast one. But if just the fast is enabled, then it uses the fast settings. So, yeah, Derek, I saw the site. I was actually just doing an update here. I took a backup real quick while I was talking to you guys. I'm ordering an SVO3 right now from their website. There we go. Pay now. We should be good. So anyways, yeah, as far as I know, we should be able to get the SVO or the easy board in the SVO3. I gotta double check. Is this a touch? Okay, no, I didn't get the touchscreen one. Do not buy the touchscreen one. Buy the normal one, especially if you want to use our easy board and our firmware. I will not be doing support for their touchscreens. They're just a pain in the ass. But from what I can tell, if this is like the SVO1, we should be able to get the easy board in that one too. So, basically, if someone has an SVO3, crack it open. If it's got that Creality V2.1, 2.2 board in it, we'll be able to put an easy board in there with no issue. But we are past an hour now on the actual stream. I'm going to edit this video. So this video will go private, and then I'm going to put it into edit mode and chop off the shit show that was Comcast messing up. So, we do, Nectar, we do ship outside of the US, but if you're in the UK, we do not ship to the UK anymore. Because your guys' country changed their laws that will require us to file and collect and pay taxes in the UK. And the UK was such a small market, and we're a small company, and I don't have the staff, nor can justify the cost of having to do that. So we just stopped selling to the UK, and I know a lot of other companies just stopped selling to the UK because, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna abide by some other country's tax laws. They can go pound sand. You should do what every other country does and collect your fees at your border to extort your citizens for, you know, your VAT or whatever the hell it is. But I'm not gonna, like, I would have to hire somebody else just to be filing that. We'd have to file taxes in the UK. I'm not doing that. They can go get fucked. Not the customers, not the UK customers, the UK government who changed this. They can go get fucked. I'm not playing their game. It sucks, but, you know, if, I don't know if there's mail forwarders. We don't like shipping to mail forwarders. But like if you've been a long time standing customer and you can find a mail forwarder that go from US to UK, shoot us a message and we can just kind of whitelist you. We don't like shipping the mail forwarders because they're usually used for fraud. But if like you're a person that's been buying from us for a while, we can make an exception to that policy if you're in the UK. But I don't know if there's any mail forwarders in the UK. But I don't know if the mail forwarder would then collect it or they have some way around it. Either way, from what I understand is that the UK requires the taxes to be collected at the point of sale, meaning at my website. So, which means we'd have to then also track what we collected are UK taxes and then send money to the UK for those taxes. Like, screw that. Can you buy just a board from you guys since I don't need another probe? We do not sell those separately. The only exception we'll make sometimes if it's someone damaged. Like, if you damaged your board or fried it or the probe. Now, here's the thing. If you fry your board, the probe's probably cooked too if it was connected at the same time. But we don't sell the parts individually. You have to buy them as a kit or you get special, like a special request put in. And the only time we will sell a probe and a board separately is if you're replacing a kit and you provide provide evidence that this is a replacement because the other one was damaged. We don't sell the parts separately because the pricing is based on the support, and that we're shipping out, two of the same version of the probe and the board, and it's all one package. And I don't want to complicate things, because I also don't want people buying just the boards and bodging on whatever sensors they want and then bitching at us when it doesn't work correctly. It's more of a quality control thing to make sure the product works correctly, because if we sold like easy ABL control boards without the sensors, and someone's using it with some crappy $3 Chinese sensor, and then they shit it all over our board because it doesn't work, it reflects badly on the product as a whole. So it's more of keeping control of the integrity of the product. So, but we're gonna be wrapping this up in a sec here. Yeah, Tom Taylor, USPS first class from THD, so we're in Indiana to Northeast Ohio, 22 days. Yep. I have a package that we shipped out in October. This guy was a complete asshole to us. Complete asshole. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. We shipped it out in October. The guy was insistent that we're lying. Own up to your mistake. Blah, 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 blah. You never shipped it. You're bullshitting me. Send him video of it getting packed. Send him video of it being picked up on that same day. And then he goes, whoa, what does that show me? You just shipped a package. Well, then the package started tracking, and he's all of a sudden just, he doesn't have anything to say. So if you're watching this, go fuck yourself. We shipped your package. I don't know why do people think that I'm just gonna like, oh, you know what, just hold some of these packages so we make an extra $100. It's not fucking worth the risk. And it's just shitty. Why would I not ship orders? If we have a delay, we communicate our delays with everybody. I think it's well established now that we do operate here pretty transparent. We let people know if there's issues. If an order said it was marked shipped, it shipped. It's as simple as that. So, people are asking about how many coatings do you get out of this? I mean, I reapply like once every 10 prints, if that. I'll clean the plate off with IPA, or sometimes if I'm lazy, I'll just put some more on there. You do get a better result if you start with a clean bed, because what can happen is you can build up and you can get like higher spots and stuff. But yeah, like I'd say at least 10 prints. Your mileage may vary, but in my experience, I don't have to recoat every single print. I get quite a bit of use out of one application. So not only does the bottle last a long time, but the application lasts a long time too. So as long as you keep this sealed, it's going to last a while. So 3D Jeff, I used to be a people person, but people ruined it for me. I feel attacked. I love you guys though. Not everybody's bad. It's just the few. I will say the majority of our customers are really great to deal with. They're good people, but it's just that 2 or 3% of people that just screw everything up and just make you hate society. Especially when you realize that some of the people, especially the ones that are, being Karens, like they screwed something up and they want to chew your ass out. You realize that those people have the same voting power you do. And yeah. Scott's asking, when do you expect to get flex plates in stock on the Ender 5 Plus? Hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks. I literally got sent tracking for them about a week ago. So those get put on a boat. They get boated over here. That usually takes about a week. And then UPS picks them up at the dock and then they go here. So, yeah. I honestly don't get why people think that we would have anything to gain by not shipping an order. We're not an AliExpress seller that will give you a fake tracking number or literally give you a real tracking number that's just a envelope with a letter in it. We ship our stuff out. We have nothing to gain, and it creates more problems if we were lying to people. Like if we can't ship something out or there's a delay, we just tell people, and that way there's no like us, they hid it from me. They didn't communicate with us. No, if anything, we over communicate with our customers, and I'd rather keep it that way because, then we can never be called out about like, oh, well, they didn't tell us. They kept us in the dark. Like, that's not how we do it. If you have a tracking number for your order, then it's going out. We have UPS and USPS pickups here every single day. They usually pick up anywhere between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So if, let's say you get an email notification that your order's been shipped and it's like 9 a.m., that'll be going out of here that same day. So the only exception is if sometimes if we get a lot of orders, we'll go out there on the weekend and pack orders, and then they'll get picked up on Monday. But, you know, I don't understand why these people are so stupid that they think that we're going to package and make a label and, like, not ship the order. No, if we give it a label, like, we have to weigh all the packages too. If there's a tracking number, it's been physically packed, and then it's going to get picked up later that day. Like I said, with the exception being if they're packed on the weekend. But if it's during the weekday, those orders get packed up every single day. And like, I think I'll probably do a, I'll probably do something. I'll probably post it in the Discord. But the guy was just insane. Like, he's literally told us to. Not only did he say that we didn't ship the order, but he's going to go out of his way to cause problems for us on Facebook and Twitter and all these other places. And I told him, well, if you're going to do that, go ahead and send me the link so I can actually post my side of the story, because we shipped it and you're just being difficult. So, yeah, some people can be just terrible people, and I don't want them as customers. So, yeah, it's really simple. If you're not a Karen, we'll be fine. Like I said before, even if you guys fuck something up, let's say you just got your new flex plate and you put a big gouge in the bed because you weren't paying attention. Just ask us if there's something we can do. Most of the time, if you're polite and you're just like, hey, I fucked up, we'll usually do something for you. We don't have to, but we usually do, because we understand. Like, but the problem is when people screw stuff up, they don't want to have ownership over their own actions, and they want to yell and scream at us. That we don't play those games where we're just going to bend over because you're yelling and screaming. So I want to set proper expectations here. We try to run the business fairly and treat people how we want to be treated. And I don't yell and scream at people when I screw something up. I'll usually email them, be like, hey, I screwed something up. I understand it's my fault, but can you help me out? Like, that's a much better way to approach it, instead of being like, I'm going to charge you back and screw you and your product's crap, like when I was the one who screwed it up. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, we're at 1 hour, 19 minutes. Just see if there's anything else. I'm glad to see all the feedback that everybody's having a good experience with the support people. So, I doubt the Karens are watching the channel here. So, anyways, though, we're at 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry about the rough start. We usually do these at 2 p.m. Central Time, but Comcast was just railing me. I'm still showing packet loss, but it looks like we were able to just kind of power through. Yes, Clara will get a treat before we go. Clara, do you want a dingo stick? You were such a good girl. Do you want one? Oh, we got to stretch. We got to stretch. So Claire will get her treat, and then we'll wrap this up. So I appreciate everybody that stopped by. It depends on what, I don't know if Samantha wants to spend time together or not tonight. If she doesn't, maybe I'll do a stream on the Ender 6 and working on that. So, come here. Do you want this? What? Why are you limping? What did you do? Did you step on the, I think she stepped on the Big Tree Tech board. Yeah, I just realized it's laying there on the floor bottom side up. That probably didn't feel good. Can you speak? Woof. Give me a big one. Good girl. Shake. There you go. I'm going to go pick that up so she doesn't step on it. So, anyways, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Sorry again about the rough start. Comcast is Comcast. What can I say? So, anyways, like I said, we do these streams Monday and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central Time, pending no issues with Comcast like we had today. So, hope you guys all had a great day. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If I don't see you before then, I know it's Wednesday, but you never know. Maybe I'll stream. Maybe I won't. I got some printers I got to get done. And I just bought the Soval. So if you guys are getting Soval SV03s, please buy some stuff. We will be doing a lot of upgrades for that. So anyways, everybody take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, happy printing.